Hello and welcome to Cape Corner, where we explore the history, story, and cultural impact of a different character or group every episode. I'm Blue.
And I'm Margo.
And this is the start of Season 5. I would love to be doing it with more energy, but I'm still waking up.
It's just one of those mornings.
If nothing else, we keep it real here on Cape Corner, and for real though, I'm a sleepy boy. I sleep like fucking 9 to 10 hours every night.
My sleep schedule is very erratic. I either get like 10 hours or I don't get any sleep at all.
That sounds like a nightmare, honestly.
It sometimes is.
Even though I sleep a lot, I at least appreciate the consistency of my sleep. So, I maybe once a year, we'll just suddenly have a weird night where everything changes, and I'm always like, what do I do? What's going on? I guess you could say every once in a while I turn into an insomniac.
That was bad.
Shut up, I'm still waking up. Yeah, we're talking about Saul Spooderman today, but we want to specifically talk about the Insomniac version, aka the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 version. We've done a Peter Parker episode before. I know. Shut up. But
it's technically a different version of Peter Parker, so it counts as a different Spider-Man.
Yeah, and I'm also going to use this to talk about Miles Morales. And we're honing in on a specific version of these characters. So, like, normally we talk about the character across multiple iterations, multiple universes. Look, man, it's fucking Spider-Man. Just the same way that we could easily make 5 more completely different Batman episodes. We can make a bunch of Spider-Man episodes. We'll always have more to say about him. I could literally just make an episode about Spider-Man and how he fucking is the reason that Power Rangers exists.
Honestly, what's stopping you from making that episode?
I'm a coward. Clearly. That's why I haven't made it yet.
Give it time.
What?
I said give it time, I'm sure you will.
Oh yeah. You know, if this thing goes for 5 more seasons, you're definitely going to start getting the weird shit that's just clearly like, okay, Blue woke up this morning and had an autism moment and really wanted to talk about this specific thing.
Honestly, that'll be amazing. Get both me and Jordan involved.
Cut to 5 years from now, and I'm like, all right, you motherfuckers, we're talking about the pouch. I showed you a picture of him, right?
I don't think so.
He was oh fuck, what's his name? I can't think of his name. The guy who did all the pouches and the bad musculature in the 90s, the comic book artist. He drew Captain America with like massive titties, like with.
Oh yeah, okay.
And he had a thing for bandoliers and pouches and shit in the 90s, and so people made fun of how many pouches he puts on characters, so he made a character literally made out of pouches.
I love that. That's horrible.
And he has a gun made out of pouches that shoots pouches.
Why is that a thing?
Well, it started as like it was just a drawing that he did to make fun of himself, and then someone in the editing bay, I guess, was just like, ha 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 ha, that's very funny. But wait a second though. And now he's actually in comic books. It's so stupid.
I love that so much.
Yeah. All right. So, you said that you've never played these games. Is that correct?
Yeah, I've never played any of them.
Do you know anything about the games?
I know very little about the
Tell
games.
tell me. It,
In,
weave us a story.
in terms of story, I basically know nothing. In terms of gameplay, I know a little bit.
Like what?
Like how good the swinging apparently is.
It's
With the
very fun.
costumes, they have so many fucking options that you can choose from.
Hmm.
Uh, that apparently the MJ mission sucks.
Yeah. Um. Well, okay, because what's really funny is that in the newest game they improved her massively. Because her gameplay, like in a lot of missions, you can choose to either go balls to the wall, just fight it out, or you can try and be stealthy. Um,
Mhm.
but as Spider-Man, you have that option. Whereas with MJ, she is not a superhero. She has to be stealthy because she often sneaks through heavily armed enemy camps and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um, she's just a fucking girl, dude. Like she's not like she, the only gadgets she gets are things to like distract enemies, lure them away, so she can sneak behind them and stuff like that to make it easier on her. But in the first game, if she gets caught, if someone sees her, it's an immediate game over, and that can be very annoying, especially for someone like me who's not very good at stealth. Um, in the newest game, she has a taser, so even if she gets seen, she can actually. First of all, they don't just threaten her with like actual guns; they use like tranquilizer arrows on her. So she can take 2 shots before she dies. Meaning, if you get shot once, you can actually just sprint at the enemy, hope that they don't get their second shot off, and tase them.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
That sounds
so
a lot better.
you that small change makes her missions much more palatable in the new game
Mm.
because it gives you a lot of wiggle room to fuck up as long as you're quick and you don't fuck up too bad.
Yeah.
Like there, for example, there was one time where this dude saw me from farther away, so he shot me. And so I started trying to sprint at him, and like right before I got in range to tase him, he got his second shot off, and I collapsed right in front of him. And I was like, okay, that does feel like it's my fault because when he was that far away from me, I probably should have tried to take cover and hide and get away from him until the first tranquilizer wore off. So it felt like something I messed up on, rather than the game just beating me over the head with how not fun the stealth segment is.
Honestly, and I feel like that's such a hard, not hard, but I feel like that's on the harder side of things to do to make it feel like it's not the game being hard or stupid itself, you know?
Yeah. Um, and like before anyone wants to come into the comments like you don't understand the plot. Shut the fuck up. I totally understand the plot of the Spider-Man games, and in fact, I am one of the biggest dick riders for the plot of the Spider-Man games. I will defend them to the day I die. Uh, I get it. I get that in those segments, you are meant to feel stressed and anxious because it is giving you, the player, a meta connection to someone without superpowers.
Hmm.
It is making you feel like Mary Jane in the like, oh god, I can't fuck this up. Because Spider-Man gets shot. He's like, ow, ooh, ow, better keep flipping for a while so that I don't get shot again. But if MJ gets shot, she's just fucking dead. So I understand it. It's much more stressful by design, and that is wonderful for storytelling purposes. But sometimes you're just wanting to play the game, and the sudden switch up can sort of take you out of what you were wanting to do, and you're kind of Oh, okay, I gotta do this MJ mission before I get back to the thing that I want to do. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Um, if they had like a setting where if you've already played through the game once, it doesn't force you to replay those segments, like you can just skip them. And I don't think people should be allowed to skip them on their first playthrough. I do think that they are important to at least play through once.
I genuinely agree with that, actually.
Yeah.
But after that, you should be able to.
Yeah. It's funny, they, in a later patch, they added an option to skip puzzle segments, because there's like puzzle mini games in these games, and I think they're fun as hell. And yet, for whatever reason, those have the option to be completely skipped over.
Really?
Yeah, I don't understand why people think that they're hard. Okay, I get it. I know. I'm a smart young lad, and I'm a very good being, and like all that good shit. But I don't think they're. I don't know. Maybe I'm just like overestimating the intelligence of the general populace, but like they're not that hard. So the two that you have in the first game, they're a circuit puzzle. So it's like you get pieces. Some are straight pieces. Some are like right angle pieces. Some are right angles that only go in one direction, and you have to. It's one of those things where you have to get something from point A to point B, and you gotta figure out how to map it out properly. And sometimes there'll be like voltage adjusters, like minuses or pluses, and you have to get it to the other end while also making it come out as this number you're shooting for.
Yeah.
There's that, and then there's a those like litmus tests that have like lines on paper after you dip it in a chemical or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like you see a fully completed one of those, and you have like pieces that have individual lines, and you need to like match them up basically. It's really not that hard. Like they have levels where it gets more complicated, but I've seen playthroughs where people are just like, I don't understand. How do I do this? It's like fucking just think, man. Just think for a second. Slow down.
Bless you.
Hey. Oh, that snort probably sounded super good to hear.
The viewer will get over it.
Yeah. Look, man, I did the Batman episode. I'm now past the point of trying to lure people in. Either people are listening or they're not. Spoiler alert, they're not. So it's fine. All right. Well, let's start talking a little bit about the game from the start. Right away, this game makes one of the greatest decisions you can possibly make in a Spider-Man video game, which is very simply, this isn't his first year being Spider-Man. It's not his second year. It's not his third year. He's been Spider-Man for 8 years.
Damn.
He's a 24-year-old. He started being Spider-Man in high school. Or 23-year-old, something like that. But he was literally like 15 or 16 years old when he got bitten by a radioactive spider. And as a result, the opening scene takes a slow camera pan through his bedroom. And we see everything from his mask, which has integrated circuitry on the inside of it, which explains why you have like a HUD and everything. Because his lenses literally have like screens feeding him information in addition to like the eyes opening and closing and stuff. To newspaper clippings on a corkboard showing that he's already defeated enemies like the Vulture, the Rhino, Scorpion, stuff like that. And Electro. Those are four of the big ones that the board shows he's already beaten. And it also shows that he's gunning for Wilson Fisk, the Kingpin.
Mm.
Which, the funny thing about Kingpin is that a lot of people are like, but he's a Daredevil villain, though. It's like, yeah, these days he is. He started as a Spider-Man villain. Like, he literally appeared in the Spider-Man comics.
Not to mention, even if he wasn't a Spider-Man villain, it's not like he wouldn't have run into him anyway.
Because he's the fucking kingpin of crime.
Yeah.
Any aspiring crime fighter is probably going to have run into him at some point or another.
Mm-hmm. Especially when you live in fucking New York.
Yeah. It wouldn't shock me if, like, the Avengers are like, oh, this fucking dickhead. All right, hang on. We got to deal with the kingpin of crime real quick. Like,
I can
even
just
though they typically focus. What was that?
I was just saying, I can imagine how easy that would be for them.
Yeah, that's why I was like, even though they typically focus on like cosmic threats and shit.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, okay, right away, I want to talk about something because it's something that appears first and foremost in this opening scene of the game, which is a great opening scene. He wakes up to an alert that the police are about to go after Fisk, and he like leaps out of bed and he starts putting his clothes on, and like he throws a slice of bread into like a toaster that's rigged to automatically go down on its own when it senses bread go in, and it pops up and he literally webs it out of the air, and he's got the toast in his mouth like he's an anime schoolgirl as he's putting his costume on. And it's got this like soft rock playing, and his landlord literally slips an eviction notice underneath of his door, and like he has to choose whether to like take a look at that now, and of course he does, and he just leaps out the window and starts swinging. It's a great immediate distillation of Spider-Man, but we got to talk about the face thing. Do you know about the face thing?
No, I don't.
Okay, so the original Spider-Man PS4, Peter had one face, and then for the remastered edition, he suddenly had a completely different face. And I know people have complained to death about the face change, and a lot of the responses are, oh my god, who cares? Just get over it. It's the new face of Peter. You gotta get used to it either way. First of all, shut the fuck up. People can complain about whatever they want. And second of all, I feel like the first face actor might care that he was not in the Miles Morales game or Spider-Man 2. Hang on, I'm pulling it up so you can see.
Okay. I was like, wait, why'd it go quiet?
Yeah, again, my brain's not fully turned on yet, so it's like,
No,
I'm like, I'm going to Google a thing and then just not say anything about it.
I'm half asleep too. It's completely fine.
All right, so the face on the left is the original face he had. I quite liked it. He sort of looked like a fusion of the three different actors that played him, like Toby, Andrew, and fucking Tom.
Yeah.
And then they changed it to the face on the right, which I guess that's the guy who was like mocapping the body movements or some shit. I don't know, but they didn't have a reason to change him. He looked great in the original game, and I thought that the new guy looked a lot more like Tom Holland.
He does. He looks a lot younger too.
Yeah, and And Yuri Lowenthal's voice, I felt matched very well with the original face, and I don't think it matches as well with this new one. And no one can even be like, but the new one emotes better. Take a look at this. It's not like the new face is lacking for the ability to emote, but look at that.
That is a huge difference.
That right there, that looks like a real fucking person that's in the middle of just like grieving seriously.
Yeah.
Here's one more example. This is literally from a Reddit post called "Unpopular Opinion: I Hate Peter Parker's New Face." Yeah, I do think that the original one emotes much better.
Honestly, yeah. I'd have to agree. The original one does. It shows more emotion.
That's from a scene of him like screaming at his former idol and coming to terms with the fact that like it was a very never meet your heroes moment for him.
Yeah.
Um, it, and yeah, the older face I feel like portrays someone that's devastated much better than the newer one does. Again, yeah, I understand the new face is the thing. We just have to get used to it. Yes, I bought the remastered edition. It was like on sale for $10, so I got it because I've been wanting to replay through all three games. And I was like, I guess I just have to get used to the new face. So I already beat Spider-Man 2. Like, trust me, I'm well used to his new fucking face. But I think the reason people complain about it is because there was no need. Why'd they fucking do it?
Yeah, I don't understand why they would.
Yeah, I literally just looked it up because while I was Googling this, there was the little Google questions thing, like, why was Peter Parker's face changed? Insomniac clarified that the change was aimed at improving the alignment of facial animations with Yuri Lowenthal's performance, which makes not a goddamn lick of sense to me, because I think Yuri Lowenthal's performance came through the original face actor very well.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I feel like it matches this face less. And that's something where you'll have to watch clips and come to your own conclusion about whether or not that's true.
Yeah. I mean, at some point, I'll probably end up buying it at Steam on Steam. I'll just fucking broke.
Yeah. Well, again, the only way you'll be able to see the original face, unless you like watch it on YouTube, is to buy the base edition of the original PS4 game. The version that plays on PlayStation 5 and stuff like that is the remastered edition.
Mm-hmm.
And it's easy to tell apart. It literally says Spider-Man remastered.
Actually, I think the remastered version is the only one on Steam.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
Yeah, it is.
Which is again why I'm like, it must suck for that face actor,
Right?
who, as far as I'm aware, isn't like a criminal or anything. So what?
Dude just got booted out for no reason.
Yeah, shit sucks, dude. Yeah, and again, this is like I just found a video from a month ago that says we need to stop complaining about the face change. Why? Why do we need to stop complaining about it? It's it's not like it's gonna fucking kill me to deal with the new face, but at the same time, I'm not exactly the type of person to just let companies get away with making unnecessary changes that's very jarring for the audience and fucks over a real person.
Yeah, exactly.
If I want to fucking complain about it, if I think it makes the experience less good, if I think it screwed someone over, and if I think it was unnecessary, I'm completely within my rights to complain about it.
Mm-hmm.
Even like 3 or 4 years later after it's happened. because it's still affecting us. We still have that new face in Spider-Man 2, and thanks to the graphical upgrades, it looks better, but I don't know. I think the old face would have probably looked even better. Anyway, look, I wanted to get all that out of the way, because that's, like, the controversy about this game. And, again, there are a lot of people that are like, I'm tired of hearing about it. Then stop looking for it. You're tired of hearing complaints, fucking block me. I don't give a shit. But stop telling people to stop complaining about it. It's just one of those things that frustrates me. I do think that there are some things people complain about to death, and it eventually is just like, oh my god, fucking get over it. But
this is still a recent thing, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it happened like 3 or 4 years ago. They suddenly changed it out, and it's not like somebody went and retroactively changed the face of a character in like a show that's already over. Like, this is still affecting games that are still being made.
Yeah.
It's still an ongoing thing. That's why people are still fucking talking about it.
I'm sure once the series comes to a close and all that, people will stop eventually. Because they'll forget about it.
Yeah, well, yeah, because it's like, if it's not currently affecting you, if it's something, like, then the only way you can look at it is through the lens of nostalgia, right? It's like, boy, when those Spider-Man games came out, they were really great, but I always thought it was stupid that they changed the face for no reason. As opposed to, these games are still coming out, and I know the next game is going to have this stupid fucking new face that I don't like as much. It's a fresh wound in that way.
Yeah.
All right, but okay, that was my complaining time. Now let's get back to talking about the story. So, a fun thing with this game and this universe is that they pull a mix of the very classic Spider-Man characters along with a lot of the newer, more modern characters. For one thing, Spider-Man has a contact on the police force, Captain Yuri Watanabe. What's very fun with Peter's interaction with Yuri, one, he is a guy named Yuri voicing a character, talking to a character named Yuri. But also, that character named Yuri is voiced by his wife.
Oh shit, really?
Yeah, Yuri Lowenthal's wife voices Captain Watanabe.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so they have a fun back and forth chemistry to them that feels very natural because it is. But what's funny is that Yuri is a newer character in the comics. She is a former police officer who became a vigilante because she started murdering the villains in custody, named Wraith. And we get to see her gradual development into Wraith in these games. She just appeared as Wraith for the first time in the newest one.
Oh, no shit. Okay.
Yeah, so in the original base game, she's just a cop. She just does her by the book cop things. But there's a DLC called The City That Never Sleeps, and at the end of that, she actually murders someone who is in her custody. I'll get into that later. And we don't see her in the Miles Morales game. She got kicked off the force, and then she appears in the new game as Wraith. So it's very fun the way that they can adapt stories like that in these games. Another character that we, for better or for worse, see from the modern comics is Screwball.
You still there?
Yeah, could you not hear me?
No, I couldn't. I don't know. Something happened with the audio for some reason.
What was the last thing you heard?
Screwball.
Well, yeah, I said Screwball. Do you know who Screwball is?
Oh no, I don't. I don't know. I don't. Sorry.
Um, she is a streamer that likes to pump up her streaming numbers by streaming crimes that she commits.
Oh
Um,
shit.
but technically, she doesn't commit them. It's just her fans, and golly gosh, her fans love her so much, and boy howdy, wouldn't they do anything for her. They get a little overzealous sometimes. Like if she just says, boy, wouldn't it be nice if I had this person right now? They'll go and kidnap them for her. She never asked them to do it, but they're just such good fans that way. As a result, it's hard to be keeps getting away with it
Mm-hmm.
because it's one of those things where it's like I never technically. It's very January 6th, and like I never told them to storm the Capitol. All I said was that if they didn't, they would all fucking die.
Jesus Christ.
Your family and your friends and your American values will all wither and die and fed to the communist cannibals and oh, but I totally never told them to actually attack people, so don't punish me, please. I hate that we still just allow people to get away with that shit. Like, hey, maybe we shouldn't actually give these people the benefit of the doubt or the innocent until proven guilty thing, because they're pretty fucking guilty.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, she uses that to her advantage. I do like it when Spider-Man gets political. You know, I actually had an argument with people because they were talking about politics being shoved down their throat in a culture war and shit like that with the new Spider-Man game, and it's literally like because gay people exist in New York.
Right? Like, God forbid.
Yeah.
It
Um,
it's crazy to think that the more you move into a city, the more you might see a gay person.
yeah. Like in the first game, it literally only went as far as there was a pride flag mural on one building.
Hmm.
Um, and then in the Miles Morales game, they introduced a deaf character. And then the newest game, you can actually play as that deaf character for a few minutes. And so it heavily muffles like all the audio that you
Mm.
actually hear. Um, and there's like a side mission where you can help a college couple, and like they're two guys, and it's very cute. All they do is hold hands. Um, Black Cat mentions she has a girlfriend now, and that's about it.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that actually.
Yeah. Um, Black Cat is, by the way, she is my Marvel waifu. Like I simp so hard for Black Cat.
I don't blame you. She's fucking hot.
Like every version of her is hot in a different way. Like you got the classic like supermodel looking Black Cat in the comics and stuff. You've got the one from the '90s who's like a muscle mommy.
Hmm.
Like they made her really tall and gave her defined abs through her like skin tight suit. Um, and then the like newest version from Insomniac is like has a ponytail, which like I'm a sucker for ponytails. Um, has like teched out goggles and like but she's just got like ass for days.
That's one thing that she's almost always had is just a massive ass too.
Yeah, it's great. And I love that in one of the newest comic series, she literally teams up with Mary Jane and gives her her own Black Cat suit. Because like
Mhm.
Peter gets fucking rocked by some Spider-Man shenanigans he was in, right? So he's like in the hospital. He's in a hospital bed, barely conscious, and I guess Black Cat comes to Mary Jane and is like, hey, so I'm gonna go figure out what fucked up Spider-Man or deal with the situation that he couldn't deal with. And Mary Jane's like, I want to come too. And she's like, okay, Red, but you're gonna need to wear this. And they both decide to visit Peter in his hospital room, like dressed in matching Black Cat outfits. And he opens his eyes and he looks at both of them sitting there. And he's like, oh, cool, I'm having this dream again.
Jeez.
Based Peter Parker, we love it.
For real.
And you see like Mary Jane doesn't even get mad. She just sort of like makes the like colon slash like face, like the bro. Are you fucking serious?
I love that so much.
But what's really funny is that Black Cat is like, she literally says that Mary Jane has a dumpy.
Really?
She like jokingly is like, I'm surprised that you could fit your fat ass in my suit though.
Oh my god.
But like not as like an insult, like it wasn't being catty. Like because she is bi, so it's like she 100% was like, God damn, girl. Sorry, I'm trying to. What was I talking about? I guess of the Black Cat.
Yeah.
I don't think I could ever do a Black Cat episode because
It would just be you simping.
it would just be me simping for like 2 hours.
I mean,
that gets old real quick.
maybe that's what your followers want.
Maybe. All 2 of them. Yeah, so alright, so the game literally starts with Peter going after Kingpin. He's wearing his classic suit. It's a great introduction to the combat and a little bit of the traversal. You mentioned the web swinging. The web swinging feels so fucking good. And I'm going to tell you one extremely simple and obvious thing that they did to make it feel good. Or webs actually attached to buildings. And I know that sounds like fucking duh. What else would they do? I'll tell you what else they would do. They would just have you basically flying in a pendulum motion to wherever you're going, because your webs just shoot straight up into midair and attach to nothing, because that's what they did for decades.
Yeah,
Spider-Man video games.
They did that for so long. I think they even did that semi-recently with that Avengers game, didn't they?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
They, like, one of the games that I grew up with, no, didn't grow up with. I was already like a teen to young adult when this came out, but Web of Shadows. People love talking about Spider-Man Web of Shadows. Here we go, hot take time. Ready for this shit?
Okay.
I think Spider-Man Web of Shadows kind of fucking sucks. It's extremely funny. It's extremely memeable. It's so melodramatic. It's got one of the worst Spider-Man voice actors I've ever heard. I think the idea of the story is kind of neat. It's kind of like, what if Marvel Zombies, but instead of zombies, it's symbiote?
Mm-hmm.
And they just turn New York into like a symbiote island. It's got a moral system where they'll often be asked to make choices between red or black. The red suit, which is like your good boy stuff, and the black suit, which is where you're bad boy Peter Parker doing bad shit like Spider-Man 3. Like, you can literally cheat on MJ in that game by making a black suit option to cheat on her with Black Cat.
Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah. Also, Luke Cage is in the game, so is Moon Knight, so is Wolverine. Um, and a lot of these characters get symbiote on them. Like, you have to have a boss fight with symbiote Wolverine at one point.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I bet that's
Actually,
kind of badass.
it is. I like those designs. And what's very funny is that the first time you see Wolverine in the game, when he's like normal, he smells a symbiote on you. So he doesn't know if you're like taken over by it or not. So he literally quizzes you on Spider-Man trivia. Like, you'll be boss fight, boss fight, boss fight. Then he just like leaps up to the side of a building, looks down at you, and is like, "Where did Spider-Man first find the symbiote?" And you have multiple choices. You could be like some random locker or fucking battle world, like a lab, shit like that. And it's like battle world. He's like, all right. And then he jumps back down and keeps fighting you, and he'll just jump back up and be like, I don't know what was one of the other questions he fucking asked, like, who's the guy that used to bully Peter Parker? And you're just like, Logan, why do you know this shit about me? Because like Spider-Man and Wolverine have teamed up multiple times, but they're never really like friends. The Spider-Man kind of actively doesn't like Wolverine.
Mm.
It's like, you're a fucking asshole. Like, I don't like teaming up with you, you weird hairy little man.
Hairy little man. I love that.
By the way, Insomniac, make Wolverine 5'3" in your new game, you cowards.
Actually, while we're talking about different Spider-Man games for a quick second, I've only really played like two of them, and my favorite by far is Ultimate Spider-Man for the
That's really
PS2.
fucking good.
I loved that one.
It's based directly on the Ultimate Comics, which are very hit or miss, but it leans so hard into the comic book aesthetic. It's very fun.
I know, it was such a vibe.
It was, and I'll what I really like about the Ultimate interpretation of Venom is that the symbiote in that universe always has a purple hue to it,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And while it makes sense, purple is a very dark color that matches with black very well and can act as a black shader very naturally. Thematically, it also works really well because it's a black suit, but it's a bit influenced by Spider-Man to have all the spider powers and everything. So Spider-Man's suit is red and blue. So if it's been influenced by Spider-Man, make it a little bit more purple.
Hmm. Exactly.
It's very simple color theory, and I think it works very well. Um, Actually, what's really fun is in the new game, um, a lot of the suits that you can get, you can spend a little bit more resources to unlock different, they call them styles, but they're just palette swaps for that suit.
Hmm.
And there is a classic black suit, like from the comics. And the classic black suit, like the main color, is just flat black. Looks like it came right out of the comics, right?
Hmm.
But it's got three styles. One of them just looks like if it was like classic anti-venom or whatever, like it's just white and black instead of black and white. That one's whatever. But the two that I really like, there's one with a purple shader, so it looks like the Ultimate Comics one, and the other one I really like has a half red, half blue shader on it. Basically, it always looks like a red light is hitting it from one side and a blue light is hitting it from the other, even if it doesn't make sense for the environment he's in or the lighting he's in, right?
That
Like,
sounds fucking sick.
the reason they did that is because that's how Venom looked in the 90s cartoon.
Hmm.
Let me show you what I mean. Hang on. Here you go. This is what Venom looked like in the 90s cartoon.
Oh, I love that, actually.
Yeah, no matter what environment he was in, it always looked like a blue light was hitting him from one side and a red light from the other.
Mm-hmm.
Spider-Man 2 classic black suit. Let me see if I can find this. Yeah, here you go. This has what I'm talking about. This is the 4 styles for the classic black suit.
Okay. I actually really fucking like that.
It's really good. It's a little bit more subtle on this, but that works better for like a video game rendering.
Yeah, especially with how, like, realistic this game is supposed to look.
Yeah, and you can see what I'm talking about with style 2 there, having a more purplish tint to it.
Yeah, I like that a lot, actually.
Yeah, it's great. Um, uh, and they actually Venom in this game is a little bit of a fusion of the 2 main origins of Venom, because in the classic comics, Venom is an alien.
Mm-hmm.
But in the Ultimate comics, he was a lab creation. Venom was literally created in the Ultimate comics as an attempt to cure cancer.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It was like, yeah, it was like it was supposed to be like a self-thinking symbiotic exosuit which goes into your body and attacks cancer cells. But it wound up being like, hey, what if we just also attacked like other human beings and it just fucking eats people? So it's like, whoopsies! You guys made a little bit of a mistake in the development there. You kind of created a horror movie monster. Whoops. But yeah, okay. So with the suits, unlocking all the different kinds of suits is very fun in these games because there's so many references, dude. Oh my god, the references out the fucking wazoo. I love it. Everything from 2099 suit, fucking Spider-Man Noir suit. Um, something that does upset me is that they haven't made a Spider-Man Unlimited suit in these games yet. And
Really?
I know nobody gives a shit about Unlimited, but I do. I think the Unlimited suit was really cool. It was made of nanotech, and it had a web cape, and it's just dumb enough to be cool. Yeah, like a lot of the movie suits. What's funny is that in the first game they added the Amazing suit from like the first Amazing Spider-Man movie where he had like the yellow lenses and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And in this one they added the Amazing 2 suit, which is very different. He just randomly had a much more comic accurate suit in the second movie. Yeah, the Sam Raimi web suit. This game adds the Spider-Man 3 black suit as well, which is appropriate.
Sick.
All of the home suits. They got the homemade suit. They got the Civil War suit. They got the upgraded suit. They got the black and gold suit. They got the hybrid suit. They even threw in the new red and blue suit from the end of No Way Home.
No shit.
Yeah. So, which is funnily enough the best way you can get a look at that suit now, since we only get to see that in a very dark shot, and him in motion the whole time, and sort of like at a middle distance from the camera. So I never got to get a really good look at the suit until I played this game.
Mm-hmm. There was... Oh.
No, go ahead.
Not technically a suit, but there is a glitch in the new Spider-Man game where you could play as a white cube.
Yeah, okay, yes. I've encountered this.
And I find that fucking hilarious.
Because if there is one big criticism I can make about this game specifically, and not just the games as a series with the stupid fucking face swap, it's that they pushed this game out with a lot more glitches than the previous games.
Hmm.
Now, if you've heard me rant about people complaining about Cyberpunk before, you know that glitches aren't a deal breaker for me, depending on what the glitches are. If they're very funny glitches, very unobtrusive to my gameplay glitches, I don't mind. And a lot of what you deal with in Cyberpunk, or a lot of other beloved games like Skyrim and whatnot, aren't the annoying kind of glitches, they're just fucking funny. This game has some annoying glitches in it. Very frustrating ones to deal with. For one, yes, while it's funny to an outside observer to be like, this person's swinging around Spider-Man as a fucking white cube. For one, if I just bought a costume, I want to see that costume. I don't want to see a white cube. And also, it fucks with me not knowing where my hitbox is when people are trying to attack me.
I didn't even think about that. That would genuinely be fucking annoying.
Yeah, because it also fucks with your ability to see the spider sense. So you can't know if an attack's going to hit you by like looking at the hitbox or by seeing your like you're about to get hit indicator. Um, so whenever that happened to me, I was just like, okay, I guess I just can't use this suit until I reload the game. I guess I'll use another suit in the meantime.
Hmm.
Um, but let me tell you a little anecdote of me playing Spider-Man 2. This is a real story that happened to me. They added a new thing in this game where when you stop a random crime, you'll get into a fight with some bad guys. And now sometimes after the fight, your little random crime mission won't immediately end because there'll be a civilian that's on the ground like, Spider-Man, don't leave me. And you have to pick him up, throw him over your shoulder, and you'll swing them to a nearby ambulance, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you come down, they already got the gurney out and waiting for you. You hit the triangle button, Spider-Man will place the injured civilian on the gurney. You'll be like, touchdown, and they'll be like, bless Spider-Man! And you'll walk away, and it'll be like, random crime complete. And you'll get a few extra experience points for saving a civilian, right?
Yeah.
So at one point, I was swinging through the city with a civilian. I was heading to where it told me to go. And I guess I must have gotten there faster than the game anticipated because it hadn't loaded in the EMT yet, like the guy standing there behind the gurney. And so
Mm-hmm.
it quickly loaded him in. But instead of him spawning behind the gurney, he spawned on top of the gurney. He's literally just standing on the gurney. And as a result, I land down, I go to put the guy on the gurney, and I can't do it
Oh, gee.
because this dude is obstructing it. So I can't hit triangle and put him down. And I was trying. I sort of swung away for a little bit, came back. Nope, dude's still standing there. I'm like, get the fuck off. I can't like knock him off or anything because you're not allowed to attack civilians. So I'm like, all right, well, fuck this then. I don't need those extra experience points. I'll just swing away. And no matter how far I swung away, this guy was still on my shoulder.
Oh my
And
god.
because I was still technically in the middle of that random crime event, I couldn't start a new mission or anything. It literally trapped me.
So you had to fucking load up and hold her save. Jesus.
Yes, exactly. You see, that's the problem.
That's horrible. See, I've never
That
run into any glitches like that. Most of my glitches, not in this game, I just mean in general,
mhm.
most of my glitches I've ever ran into were always just funny, stupid things.
And those are the great glitches. I genuinely think that those enhance the experience of most video games.
Hmm.
Um, because those are the funny things. Like when you're playing the same thing that millions of other people are playing, what you really hone in on is your unique circumstances in the game, which are by definition the things that can't be by design. If everyone plays the same story mission, you'll be like, oh, wasn't it cool when you played the same mission as me? But if you get a glitch that's like, yeah, I set a cheese wheel down and then this dude suddenly rocketed to the moon, like, for no reason, just because he saw me put a cheese wheel on the ground. That's the sort of shit that someone's like, wow, really? I never experienced that. That's really funny to hear.
Yeah, exactly. That's what really like it just makes your game.
It does. It makes it a unique experience for you.
Yeah.
Like again, the story I always tell with Cyberpunk is that there was a dude that was supposed to be threateningly sitting on the hood of his truck, but instead he spawned like 5 feet out from his truck, so he's just floating above the road in a sitting position. I'm like, shit like that's so fucking funny. I love it, but this game has definitely had some of the less fun, more irritating glitches to it, and I don't know why. Because I mean, like they could have delayed it. It would have this game released the same day they always advertised it would.
Yeah.
Delaying it once wouldn't be a big deal, but
No, they honestly, if anything, it would have. I mean, at first they might have had a little bit of backlash, but if it dropped with how the first one did, with almost very few to little glitches, it would have been better in the long run.
yeah, I again, I'm very progressive. I'm not a traditionalist by any means. I'm not someone to go back in my day. Like I
Oh,
harbor no illusion that things were better in general when I was a kid. I understand that that's a psychological phenomenon that exists only to make us all convinced that our childhoods were great.
hmm.
Um, Born out of ignorance of being a child and not knowing how bad things are. Uh, I will say, legitimately, one thing that I do miss from older generations of video games is before there were patches, the game that shipped was the game that shipped.
Yeah. So
And
if the shift broken, it was just
it was just
nobody.
broken forever.
Yeah.
And as a result, game devs had much higher incentive to not do that. They would be like, oh, well, we know that the release date was supposed to be tomorrow, but there's still this game breaking glitch in the game. No matter how much it might upset fucking weenuses on the internet, we have to delay it because we will not put our product out half finished like this.
Yeah.
A lot of times you would have more polished games upon release for the sheer reason that they couldn't go back in and fix it in post. Nowadays, because of patches, they will often release games in a half finished state and go, whatever, in a month or two we'll fix it. And it's just like, no, that still makes for a bad experience now. I don't like that.
And like, not to mention, you do that, it ruins your fucking PR. Like, for example, Cyberpunk. Don't get me wrong, I didn't really experience much glitches, so I have a different experience than I guess most people. But like, because of all of those glitches, it kind of ruined how people thought about it, and it's not as great as it could have been, or as popular as it could have been by that because of all of those glitches at when it first launched.
Didn't really get a breath of fresh air from the constant fucking complaining people make about it
Exactly.
until until Edge Runners came out. And then a lot of people softened up on it because they saw a quality product in the same universe and went back and played the game, and now the game is super patched. So they went, oh, this is actually really fun now. But you still, to this day, oh, the disastrous launch of Cyberpunk. It's like, it wasn't that. I promise you, a lot of what you hear is fucking trumped up. Like,
literally.
Like, was it a flawless game upon release? Hell fucking no. But it wasn't. It wasn't disastrous. I wouldn't call it anything close to that.
Yeah. No, I agree.
And I wouldn't call this disastrous either. This is still a strong contender for Game of the Year. But especially with how I don't think I ran into one glitch when I first played the 2018 game on release.
Mm-hmm.
It was polished as hell. So was the Miles Morales one. So going from those two into this, and suddenly there be glitches in these waters. You're just like, huh. I wasn't expecting that.
In my experience, Sony's usually pretty good about making sure that there's not as many glitches with their games, with their exclusive games.
Yeah, and I don't mean this to be an attack against the studio or anything. I'm sure they had some kind of pressure on them that I'm not aware of, but like,
oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
But it's because they're usually so good at this sort of thing that it's surprising to me. And there were a few game crashes that I had as well. I had like 3 or 4 crashes.
Mm.
Again, it's kind of weird. I'm not going to say that it like completely ruined the experience for me, but it definitely didn't enhance the experience. Let's put it that way.
I could imagine.
But getting back onto the plot a little bit, so the story literally just starts you off by like taking down Kingpin. This is a guy that Peter's been wanting to get for the 8 years he's been Spider-Man. He works with Captain Watanabe. They take him down. A very fun first boss. It's very simple because Kingpin is very simple. He's just a heckin' chonker. He's a big boy that's very strong, and when he starts charging at you like a goddamn bull, it incentivizes you to get the fuck out of his way. But his boss battle actually also acts as a backdoor tutorial for a type of enemies that you'll fight throughout the game, because you have multiple variants of enemies. You know, you have guys that'll just try to punch you, guys that have crowbars or baseball bats that you can't punch normally. You have to uppercut them to get through their defense. Guys with guns, guys with rocket launchers, guys with swords. You know, like there's all that sort of stuff, right? But then there's also brute enemies, which are just really big guys. And if you just try punching them, it's not like the guys with the crowbars or the bats where you can punch them once and they'll just block, and if you punch a second time, then they might do a counterattack. But the counterattack is easily avoided, and it doesn't do a whole lot of damage. And all you have to do is uppercut them and hit them with air attacks, and then you're good. No, brutes are like, if you try to punch them once, they'll just immediately backhand the fuck out of you, and while you're still reeling, you're like, oh geez, I wasn't. They just immediately clock you again, and they'll do that like 3 times in a row. Or if you try to web strike them, where like you shoot a web line at them to like bring yourself in close for like a leaping attack, they'll literally grab your line out of the air and yank you towards them and just start beating the fuck out of you. Kingpin is technically a brute enemy in the form of a boss. So he introduces you to these guys. What you have to do is either A, shoot webs at them to like tie them up, and then use that as a chance to start hitting them with a combo until they break out of the webs, or B, throw something at them from the environment, and then that sort of stuns them for a second, and then you can hit them with a combo. And there's other things you can do, like later on when you get access to the ability to electrocute people, either through throwing fuse boxes from the environment or just shooting an electric web. You can electrocute them to then open them up for attacks. Later on, when you get more than one focus bar, focus meter is what you use to both heal in mid-combat or to do finishers. When you have one full focus meter, for most enemies, you can hit circle and triangle at the same time, and you'll do a cool cinematic finisher on them, immediately taking them out, even if they have full health. When you get access to 2 bars of focus, you can use 2 of them to take down a brute enemy. So, like, as you gain more options for combat, they become easier to fight. But especially in the start of the game, you have to be careful. So it's neat that Kingpin sort of introduces you to that. Spider-Man puts him away, makes a fucking upside-down kiss reference. Because he's fighting with Kingpin on, like, a platform, they smash the floor, and as they're falling, Spider-Man, like, ties him up, and he's, like, suspended from a web, and Spider-Man comes down his own web line, and so they're both hanging upside down. He's like, so should we kiss now? Maybe later. But as he's being put away, Mr. Fisk makes a shadowy threat. He's like, I kept order in this city. 1 month. In 1 month, you'll wish you had me back. And he's kind of not wrong, because in the power vacuum of Kingpin now being arrested, a gang war erupts. One of the big things is that we see that Aunt May works at the Feast shelter. Feast is a homeless shelter that was created by a man named Martin Lee. Martin Lee is a character from modern comics known as Mr. Negative. Do you know anything about this guy?
No.
So you know, like, those negative film filters that are always used in, like, true crime documentaries?
Yes.
He has the ability to turn into a negative film filter guy. And he, like, shoots, like, black and white lightning and stuff like that. And one of his big things is that he has a corrupting touch. Like, he can touch you, you'll become, like, a negative looking, and it can sort of, like, mind control you a little bit, / bring out your worst traits. And he like, can both control you and also empower you with that. And he has a gang called the Inner Demons, or just the Demons in the first game. And this is a gang that was apparently just chilling out in China, waiting for the go-ahead. And when he hears that Wilson Fisk has been arrested, like, because he's a friend of Peter and May, you see him get this, like, look on his face where he's sort of, like, sad but determined. And he goes to leave Feast one day, and he literally says, I'm going to be going away for a while. Take care of this place. It represents the best parts of me. And we would later find out that what the deal is that when he was a kid, he was experimented on by Norman Osborn. And a fun twist on Oscorp in this universe is that it's not named Oscorp because it was created by Norman Osborn. It's because Norman Osborn and Otto Octavius were friends and lab partners in college, and they were called the O's, because, you know, like Osborn and Octavius.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's Oscorp because the O's made it together.
Oh, okay.
And eventually Otto got kicked out of the company by Norman. And so Otto holds a grudge against Norman, especially because he makes a new startup company called Octavius Industries, and Norman kind of shuts it down over the course of the game,
Mm-hmm.
which is a very he's like, oh, it's because you've had too many lab accidents, and I was letting you get forgiven for those under my good graces, but I gotta think about the welfare of the city. It's clearly because he wants him to work for him at Oscorp. So he's like shutting him down for entirely selfish reasons. Yeah, when they were younger, Otto and Norman experimented on Lee, and like I guess at one point Otto wasn't in the room for one experiment, and Norman decided to push things further, and both because like Martin had some kind of disease as a kid, and they were trying to eliminate it. And I guess Norman just decided to fucking crank up the juice, and he wound up turning him into Mr. Negative when he was a kid, and like it made an explosion that killed both of Lee's parents. And in the recording, you hear Otto run in, like, "What did you do? Why did you do that?" And so Lee now has a grudge against Norman Osborn, and he's had this gang ready to ruin Osborn, but he was waiting for the right moment. And with Kingpin in jail now, he brings the demons from China and has them steal all of Kingpin's weapons and shit. And they decide to use this to go to war with Oscorp. And, of course, Spider-Man winds up caught in the middle of it. One of the big things that happens is that Osborn, not trusting the city police to protect him, hires a mercenary group called Sable International. Do you know who Silver Sable is?
No.
She's a lesser-known character. She's like a C-tier character from the Spider-Man comics. So her father is Silvermane, which is one of the old guard crime bosses of New York. He's like the mafioso dude. A lot of times Hammerhead in the comics works with him.
Okay.
He winds up getting his job replaced by Kingpin later on, but his daughter is fuck is her name? I think her name is literally Silver Sablinova. I think that's it. And she gets trained as like a Black Widow type figure called Silver Sable. And in this continuity, she has a mercenary group called Sable International. So this is her from the comics. And this is what she looks like in the game.
Oh, that's a pretty big difference.
Yeah. I think Silver Sable is very neat. She's also very pretty in the comics.
Yeah, I think I definitely heavily prefer the comic version.
Well, yeah. But she's also just a real bitch in the game. It's not helped by the fact that like there's multiple cutscenes of her quote unquote overpowering Spider-Man, and it's like clearly if he wanted to fight back he could beat the shit out of her, but he just keeps not fighting back. And as a gamer you're like, oh, let me fight this bitch, please. Because she keeps like being so arrogant, like, next time if you get in my way I won't go so easy on you, or whatever. It's like, shut the fuck up.
Oh, I hate characters like that so
Yeah.
much.
It's like literally the only reason that you got the better of me just now is because the game decided to not let me fight you. And like there's it's not like his spider sense is all powerful in this continuity, but there's definitely situations where I'm like, really? Your spider sense didn't go off all there? Like, I guess you just got caught in her electric bolo trap just because. Some annoying stuff. But anyway, I actually don't hate her as a character, because later on she like mellows out a little bit and becomes much more palatable. But early game, she's very frustrating to deal with. But anyway, so her mercenary force winds up becoming enemies that you have to fight in the game because they simultaneously want to take down the demons, but also want to arrest Spider-Man. Because I guess they just think he's fucking annoying.
Hmm.
One of the big things throughout the game is that you keep hearing reference to Devil's Breath. The demons are after some kind of file that Kingpin had, and you find the file, and it says Devil's Breath in it. And eventually you find out that Devil's Breath is some sort of bioweapon. It's a contagion that can kill people very easily. And originally it was made to be, again, kind of like the ultimate version of Venom, it was made to be a cure for a disease. But it wound up attacking too much stuff. It attacks all the cells in the body, not just the disease. And we keep hearing throughout the game that Harry Osborn is vacationing in Europe, and by the end of the game, because there's a bit where you have to infiltrate Norman Osborn's compound, or not compound, but like his penthouse,
Yeah.
as Mary Jane, and she finds a secret lab in there, and there's like one section that's like completely closed off with metal shutters. In like the post-credit scene of the game, Norman goes in there and opens up the shutters, and you see Harry is floating in a tank with black goo all over him.
Oh God.
Yeah. We would find out by Spider-Man 2 that what happened was years ago they literally just found a meteor with this black goo crawling all over it, and apparently Kurt Connors, the lizard, is the guy that found it, and he had both arms then, and he was trying to interact with this alien life form, and it started crawling all up his arm, and there was a team of Oscorp security with him, and he screamed at them to shoot it off. And so they shot his arm off.
God damn.
Yeah. And they did that before the symbiote could crawl all the way up him. So that's how he lost his arm in this continuity. And then they just held on to that symbiote for years. And because Harry... So his mom died from a degenerative disease. And he inherited that because it's genetic. So they put him in this tank. They were like, hey, maybe this alien thing can cure him. Let's just slap it on him. And so when I said it's a fusion, literally it is like, it is an alien from space, but also they tried to use it as a cure in a lab. So it truly is a fusion of the 616 origin and the Ultimate origin for Venom. But yeah, so putting an alien on his body was not their first idea. They were trying to make this Devil's Breath thing as a cure for his disease. But unfortunately, it was attacking all the cells in the body, like I said. And it got the Devil's Breath nickname because it is like a gaseous thing that will just murder everybody. So the only sample of it was kept with a scientist who worked on it named Dr. Morgan Michaels. Pop quiz, do you know who Morgan Michaels is?
No.
It's an alias. It's not his real name. Because his real name is Dr. Michael Morbius.
Oh shit.
That's right, it's Morbin time.
It's Morbin time.
He is. I was fully expecting him to appear as Morbius in this game, and he didn't. Maybe because the fucking movie sucked dick, and they were like, "Let's give this a little bit of time to breathe, and not jump back on that just yet." They did put him in Marvel's Midnight Suns, which makes a lot of sense because that is a very supernatural gothic game. I really want to replay that game now. This has got me very invigorated in playing Marvel video games. But I want to play it on my PlayStation 5, not on my computer, which can barely run it. And it's like $70 on PlayStation right now.
God damn, seriously?
Yeah. I don't feel like playing it that much right now. I'll wait until it goes on sale.
Yeah, that's horrendous. Or you could just like pirate it.
Yeah, but it's a lot harder to do on my PlayStation.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
Especially because I got the digital edition, so I can't put a disc in.
I might be able to find you a version for your PC if you want.
I have it on PC is the thing.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I've already played most of the game. It just doesn't run very well, and I want to play it with a controller, and it's very annoying to try and get a controller working on my computer.
That's fair, honestly.
But anyway, yeah. So Peter winds up having to save Morgan Michaels. Interestingly, he's an older black guy in this instead of a fucking Jared Leto looking motherfucker. Which I'm not saying is bad. I just think it's interesting. It's a very different, like, and before anyone wants to be like, oh, why do they keep making the white people black? Because there's 1,000,001 fucking white characters in comics. Get over it. It's not that important.
It really doesn't matter at all.
Yeah. Like, for every one black character in comics, there's like 100 white characters. It really doesn't hurt if every once in a while they make a character that used to be white black. Who really gives a fuck? Unless it's someone unless their race and their culture is super important to the character. Like if it was like Silver Sable, who is extremely European by design,
and
you made her black, I'd be like, that's weird. Because again, it's not so much that she culturally needs to be white, but because it's not like there's non-white Europeans, or it's not like those don't exist, but it's the very classical European thing, right? So being white still makes the most sense for her, but who gives a fuck if the Human Torch, Johnny Storm, is white or black? Because that shit really doesn't matter to his character. He just needs to be a cocky dickhead that can turn on fire.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's why when people are like, well, how do you feel if I make Black Panther white? It's like, well, that's fucking different, isn't it? Because him being African is a major part of his character.
And
in fact, he has a character in his continuity where the dilemma is being a white person raised in Africa. If you want to deal with a white person in Africa, use White Wolf. Don't use Black Panther. And yes, I'm aware Bucky is White Wolf in the MCU continuity, but we're not just talking about MCU continuity. Yeah, it's one of those things where, because I still see the thing of Miles isn't Spider-Man because Spider-Man needs to be white. Why? Why does he need to be white? You know what he needs to be? He needs to be a New Yorker. I have news for you about the demographics of New York. There's a lot more than just white going on in there.
A lot.
Yeah. It's called the melting pot city for a reason. You got blacks, you got Latinos, you got Asians, you got gays, you got straights, you got transes. Fucking everyone is there.
Don't we have a trans Spider-Man now, actually?
Uh,
I could have sworn we did.
other than Gwen Stacy.
Yeah, that's fair. Hang on. I could have sworn it was recent, actually.
I mean, there's a lot of talk that Gwen in the Across the Spider-Verse movie, because her dad has a trans flag on his cop jacket, and she has a poster in her room that says "Protect Trans Kids," and her entire color scheme is in most scenes is like the trans flag colors.
Oh, it was, yeah. I was wrong. It's not a trans Spider-Man. We have a gay Spider-Man.
Who dat?
It's Edge of Spider-Verse Web Weaver is what's on the comic.
Oh, okay. I don't know who that is. I'll
I'll
take your
send
word
you a
for it.
picture, actually. I'm sorry.
Sure. I mean, like,
That did not work out the way I wanted it to.
oh, okay. I was getting ready to say I don't like this costume, and then I believe this is from the Marvel Gala that they have.
Oh, is it?
So, okay, this is some deep cut lore here. So, apparently, the super characters of the world actually have like a fashion gala every year, like in canon, in in Marvel Comics. That a lot of times they'll just show up with like fashion show versions of their costumes.
I love that.
Um, and like obviously you'll have people like Iron Man who are like actual billionaires showing up with like fancy costumes and whatnot. I think the black and gold Iron Man suit actually was one of the like fashion gala suits that he had.
Really?
Yeah, don't quote me on that, but I think that's what it was. Um, but like, yeah, because look, she's on a runway in this.
Yep.
Um, and it's like it's one of those neutral ground events where both heroes and villains just like pinky promise to not fight each other on this one night. Like, I've seen Doctor Doom appear at this fashion gala.
Jesus, really?
It's just like, it's really weird to know that you guys are just letting Doctor fucking Doom walk through here.
For real? That's so odd.
I mean, to be fair, with the amount of super people in one room, if they all did break out into a fight, they would blow up New York.
Oh, this is all taking place in New York?
I don't know. I don't know where they actually have these galas, but they blow up whatever city they're in.
Yeah, that's fair.
I doubt that they're holding a high fashion gala in the middle of fucking Kentucky. You know, just some like farmland ass shit where they won't kill anyone if they blow it up. But yeah. Okay. Gotta really try to refocus on the story. So one of the big things is that Mr. Negative winds up staging an attack on City Hall while. Okay, there's a mission you do where Spider-Man gets the help of a cop named Jefferson Davis, and he's just a genuinely good guy. Um, Mark the calendar. We found a cop that isn't scum. Hooray, hurrah! Um, in New York, what? I'm not about to get into the social commentary. You guys know the joke, but uh, In fact, Jeff winds up saving Spider-Man's life because through some chase bullshit with the demons, they wind up in a situation where a truck falls down into like the subway line. Like you know those sections of the subway where it's like it's exposed to the open air?
Mm-hmm.
Like it falls down in one of those ditches as a subway train is coming through. So Spider-Man has to like attach web lines to it and start pulling the truck back up. But as he is pulling the truck up, very slowly, just getting it out of the way just in time for the subway train to come through, he can't exactly let go of it, right? Mm-hmm. So one of the demons gets in another truck and gets ready to run him over. And again, he can't dodge or let go of this line because then he'll fucking murder a bunch of people in a subway. So he's about to just get hit with this truck. And Jeff got in his cop car and gunned that shit. And he T-bones the fuck out of that truck.
Jeez.
And just car crashes to save Spider-Man and a bunch of people in a subway train. And he crawls out of the wreckage, and he's clearly hurt, but he's alive. And both him and Spider-Man get cheered on, and he gets treated as a hero. And so he's getting commended at this City Hall thing, which Norman is also using as his re-election campaign for mayor. So it's a publicity stunt for him. But Lee decides to attack this publicity stunt, and Jefferson's wife and child are there. One Rio Morales and Miles Morales. And the bombing happens, and Jeff actually leaps on top of one of the people with the suicide bomb vest to try and contain the explosion and save lives. And so he dies in the City Hall bombing. And what's really fun is that this is the first time in the game that you might have played as Mary Jane. I can't remember. You might have already done a mission as her, but because Peter gets caught in the explosion as well, trying to protect Mary Jane, you actually start playing as Miles, who wakes up before him. And the game actually frames it, you don't know if Peter survived or not, because Mary Jane is crying and screaming for him to wake up. And from Miles' perspective, he doesn't fucking know who they are. They're just some other people that got hurt. And he's focusing on trying to find his dad, so you actually play as Miles, trying to sneak your way through the demons who are literally just executing people in the street. Jesus. And he winds up finding his dad's body and like crying over him. And it just cuts to like a week later at Jefferson's funeral. And you see Peter is like okay. And he comes up to Miles and tries to like connect with him, but it doesn't work. He's still too like he literally does the thing where it's like, man, stop saying all the lines, trying to make me feel better. He's like, you were going to say, I'm sorry for your loss, right? Or it's part of God's plan, or it'll get better in time. I don't really want to hear any of that right now. And he just sort of leaves. And it's like, yeah, it's understandable. A lot of times, because you hear that shit over and over and over from people, because people don't really know what to say. They just say those lines. It's like, hearing any of that doesn't really make anyone feel better.
No, not in the slightest.
So Peter winds up being like, hey, you know what really helped me when I lost my Uncle Ben? Keeping busy. So he asks May if Miles can start working at the feast shelter, because helping people often helps you get over a tragedy. And so Miles winds up going to the feast shelter, working with May, meeting Peter more properly. It's very sweet. And so he winds up doing that for a while. Meanwhile, as Spider-Man, Peter keeps trying to get a handle on this demon situation. He saw Martin Lee at the bombing, so he knows he's a bad guy. And everything kind of culminates there with him getting into a big battle at Grand Central Station with Lee. And while all this has been going on, he's been working with Otto Octavius as his lab assistant, and slowly seeing the progression of him developing a new prosthesis for people who have lost their limbs, which developed from let's make normal mechanical limbs to let's make mechanical limbs that sort of like can use carbon fiber to like stretch a little bit further than normal human limbs. So eventually it's just like, hey, I made these giant robot tentacles that I think are pretty cool. And we find out that Otto has a neurological condition where it's slowly degenerating. He's slowly losing the ability to control his body. I guess it's kind of like ALS or something.
Okay.
And as a result, he really wants these robot arms because then they allow him to have full mobility, even if his arms and legs don't completely work the way he wants them to anymore. And he was like, the worst part about this condition is that your brain never degrades. You can still think, and you can still talk, and everything, but your body just can't keep up with your brain anymore, and so you feel trapped in a useless body. So these robot arms are a big deal for him, but he's clearly pushed the technology too far too fast. Peter warns him that there might be some psychosis effects, and he almost convinces Otto to not use them anymore. But after defeating Mr. Negative, putting him away, Osborn gets really arrogant on air, being like, yeah, if anybody else tries to come after me, you'll have to answer to New York's finest and all this shit. Nobody can take me down, and that pisses Otto off enough to go through with using the psychosis-inducing robot arms. He breaks into the Raft, which is the floating prison in the middle of New York's waters. And apparently he had already had correspondence with a bunch of the villains in there for a while. He made promises to them. He promised Rhino he would help him get out of that suit. He promised Scorpion he would upgrade his tech. He promised Electro to help make him a fully energy being, which is like Electro's goal. Stuff like that. So he gets the help of Rhino, Electro, Scorpion, Vulture, and Mr. Negative, who wasn't in there for very long before immediately breaking out again. And with Otto as the leader, they form the Sinister Six. And they beat the dog shit out of Spider-Man. It's a bad beatdown. It's one of the most brutal beatdowns we've ever seen for Spider-Man.
Damn.
And Otto then subsequently gets Devil's Breath and decides to unleash it on New York. He unleashes a literal plague on New York, killing hundreds, if not thousands, of people, all because it was made by Oscorp. And now something that Norman Osborn created is killing people. And that will forever damage Osborn. And Mr. Negative agrees to it, because he was also going to unleash Devil's Breath on them. That was his plan. And Otto was just like, alright, well look, you got captured. I didn't. So now I'm going to do it. And Lee's just kind of like, okay, yeah, sure. It still has the same end result as what I wanted, so let's do it. And so Peter winds up needing to get the help of both Mary Jane and Miles to sort of divide and conquer. Miles winds up helping a bunch of people at Feast. Mary Jane, as I said before, goes to Norman's lab, comes back with an experimental spider on her, and it leaps from her to Miles and bites him. So he gets his own radioactive spider. Woohoo! And it ultimately culminates in the first game with Peter going after them in convenient pairs instead of trying to fight all 6 of the Sinister Six at once again. He fights Rhino and Scorpion as a pair, and those two do not get along at all. He fights Vulture and Electro as an air combat pair. And one thing I love about some of the modern interpretations of Electro, because Electro is a lot of times kind of a nothing character. Like, as far as the villains of Spider-Man go, he has the least personality. So one of the modern personality traits that they try to give him, which I really like, is that he's the only villain that likes Spider-Man's sense of humor. Like, in the Ultimate Spider-Man TV show, which sucks, a lot of times he'll make a joke, and Electro will be like, ha ha ha, that's a good one. Like he did a joke that was like, how many members of the Sinister Six does it take to screw in a light bulb? 6. 4 of them, or it's like 4 of them to try fighting Spider-Man and 1 of them to hold down Electro while they screw it in his mouth. And Electro just goes, that really does work.
Oh
and they all just sort of look at him and he's like, okay, shutting up now.
I love that.
But they do the same thing in this, because there's a bit where because Vulture's name is Adrian Toomes, Spider-Man comes into the fight with Vulture and he's like, yo, Adrian! And Vulture's like, what? It's like, oh man, nobody appreciates my references. So then when Electro comes in, he's like, Spider-Man, I must break you. He's just like, he got the reference!
I love that. That's amazing.
I just appreciate that. I like that Electro is the only dude that fucks with Spider-Man's jokes. Even though they're literally fighting to the death, he's like, yeah, I'll make some jokes back at you.
Gotta have some humor when you're, like, getting beat to death.
Some fun, man. I mean, it's work otherwise, right?
Exactly.
So, after he takes those 2 down, then he goes after Lee and Otto. And the fight with Lee a lot of times turns into just this like battle inside the mind thing where he tries to corrupt Spider-Man. But it is a very cool final boss battle with Lee. And after that, he tries to go after Otto, and Otto just fucks him up again. And he goes back to Mary Jane and Miles, and he's like, guys, I got beat up so bad. I mean, I fought 6 dudes consecutively, and they're all really strong, and the last one is just too strong. I can't beat Dr. Octopus. And Mary Jane sort of pulls him aside and is like, then maybe stop trying to fight him with Spider-Man. Maybe you need to be Peter for this one. And so Peter goes back to Otto's old lab, looks over the designs of Otto's arms that they made together, and decides to make a new invention to counteract those arms. And you might think, is he going to make some sort of like switch to deactivate them? Or maybe exploit some sort of weakness in their design? Nope. He's just going to make a suit that runs on the same technology. So he makes the anti-ox suit, which looks very cool, but I'm going to be honest, doesn't actually do much to help him. It's just a suit of armor, essentially. It's a lot cooler in theory than it actually is in execution.
Yeah.
It does still look cool, though. So he winds up coming to fight Dr. Octopus on top of Oscorp Tower because he was literally holding Norman over the edge and threatening to drop him unless he admitted to the world that he fucked up and made Devil's Breath. It's like, tell the truth, Norman. It's like, all right, you want the truth? The truth is, you suck as a scientist, and you were only worth a damn when you worked for me. He's like, no! And he drops him and lets him fall all the way to the pavement. And the only reason Norman doesn't fucking splat is because Spider-Man was coming through right then. And he catches Norman and he throws him on top of a nearby roof. And he goes all the way to the top. And Otto has the cure for Devil's Breath. And Spider-Man needs to fight him to get it. And over the course of the battle, so like very early on in the game, he saw Peter with the Spider-Man suit. And he apparently just assumed that he was Spider-Man's suit crafter. Like he was the guy that made all the gadgets and gizmos that Spider-Man uses, instead of thinking that he was actually Spider-Man. And he actually is the one that gave the design for the new white suit, the white Spider-Man suit. Something about psychology where criminals are more likely to shoot at white than at black. So if he made the spider bigger and white and put graphene armor plating behind it, it would help protect Spider-Man more.
Yep.
So like that's the idea behind it. And so in the fight, a piece of Spider-Man's mask gets shattered, and he like turns his head so he can't see it. But even though Otto didn't see his face, he's like, such a shame, Peter. And he turns around. He's like, you knew? He's like, I won't let you stand in my way. And Peter thinks for a moment. One of the problems that's happened because of this plan is that May is now sick, and she's like coughing up blood and stuff. So like they have this interaction where he's like, oh, such a shame, Peter. And he's like, you knew? He's like, I won't let you stand in my way. And then the realization hits that even though he knew Peter was Spider-Man, he is still the reason that May is sick. And so he says again, more angry this time, he's like, you knew! And like they resume fighting, and it's this very emotional thing where as he's in the middle of punching Otto, he's like, you were my inspiration. I wanted to be a scientist like you. I wanted to help the world. You were everything to me. And it's very upsetting. Like you have this final fight, which turns into a slugfest on the side of Oscorp Tower, and Otto winds up stabbing Peter, and Peter's like holding part of his claw back so it doesn't stab him any deeper. Mm-hmm. And Otto's holding the cure in his human hand, but he's like a little too far away. He's like, men who are going to change the world need to make the hard choices, Peter. And he goes, I couldn't agree more. And he lets go of the claw, letting himself get stabbed super deep. And the sudden like jolt forward brings Otto just close enough that he can like reach behind his neck, rip the chip out of the back of his neck, making the arms useless, and grab the cure. And they both fall, and he swings into a building. And he's like, Peter, I'm sorry, I went too far. You know, like, we can still help the world together. And, like, Peter's really conflicted, but then just a little bit of that villainous side seeps through again. He's like, and you can rest easy knowing your secret is safe with me. And at that point, Peter makes a decision that he's going to turn into the police. He's like, you tell people who I am if you need to. I'm going to make sure you get all the best help. And, like, he starts walking away. He's like, that's all I can do. And, like, Otto starts screaming out. He's like, Peter, where are you going? Peter! And it's, like, very sad and distressing. And they get back to Feast. May is on her deathbed. And they're like, we have this cure. Can we give it to one person right now? And Dr. Michaels is like, if we do, then we won't have enough of the cure left to synthesize more of it to save all the people of New York. And so he has to make a choice. Either save May and let this disease continue ravaging New York, or let her die, save the city. And he's about to sacrifice New York to save his aunt. Like, he comes up, asks Spider-Man, he's like, "You're going to be okay, ma'am." And she looks at him and she goes, "Take off your mask. I want to speak to my nephew." And she knew it was him. He takes off his mask. And he's like, "I don't know what to do." And he's saying it through tears. And this is where Yuri Lowenthal's voice acting really shines. Um, they always love casting him as a real sad boy. He's either Sasuke Uchiha or he's Simone. And his sad boy talents really come through. And she's like, "You do know what to do." And he's about to just plug the cure into her IV tube anyway, but he holds himself back, and he winds up kneeling at her bedside as she dies. And they do this top-down shot, which is like a recreation of the comic cover of the death of Aunt May from comics.
Mm-hmm.
And not so fun fact, this iteration of Aunt May looks fairly different than a lot of the other iterations. She looks a lot like my mom.
Oh God, really?
Yeah, and my mom died not too long after this game came out, and so now when I replay it, it hits so fucking hard, and it's so upsetting.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's and it makes it very personal for me as a result, and I don't think that it's bad. If anything, it makes me connect to it even more. But yeah, it was definitely like, because my mom was still alive when the game came out, but she was sort of like, her health was starting to fail, because my grandmother, I should say, she raised me, so I call her mom, but it's like, it was like seeing a glimpse of my own mom dying, and I was just like, gee, man, this shit is hard to watch, it's really heavy. But they really linger on it for a little bit, just let the weight of her death hit you. And it's the tragedy of Spider-Man is that his responsibility often ruins his personal life, and a lot of times that's represented as like, he couldn't make it to this date on time, or he couldn't see Mary Jane's show, or one of his friends now is mad at him. And these are all things that like could be fixed later. They're very temporary, very short-term problems. It's not that they're not problems, they're still very real and they can be damaging to his life, but the hardest parts of being Spider-Man are things like this, where it's like, you have a responsibility to save the city, and as a result, you have to let your last family member die. She was his last family member.
So hard.
Yeah. Uncle Ben died when he was still a teenager. His parents died when he was a child. Aunt May was the only family member he had left as a young adult. And now she's gone. And I think those are the most formative parts of Spider-Man, because he is who he is because of the hardest decisions he has to make. And that's how you make a fucking 10 out of 10 Spider-Man story. Like, I genuinely think that's one of the strongest pieces of Spider-Man storytelling, especially from modern ears, is that moment in this video game. And after that, the epilogue is mostly just like, Peter and MJ decide to get back together. He starts looking for a new job. Miles comes to him asking about changes to his body, and they almost do the whole like puberty haha like joke, but Miles very quickly like eliminates that.
Yeah.
Peter starts to do oh, well, you're at that age where your body might start to. And Miles is like, nope, no, we're not doing that. I'm not talking about that. I'm Spider-Man. And he's like, oh, okay. Wait, what? He jumps up on the roof and sticks to it. And bear in mind, he still doesn't know that Peter is Spider-Man. He just thinks of Peter as like a big brother figure. He's like, pretty crazy that I'm sticking to the ceiling, right? And then Peter just sort of smirks, and he also leaps up and sticks to the ceiling. And he's like, not that crazy. And that's how he reveals to him that he's Spider-Man.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And then in the DLC, City That Never Sleeps, we get Hammerhead, who, if you gave me any fucking villain from Spider-Man's Rogues Gallery to be the main villain of the DLC of the first game, never in my wildest dreams would I have picked fucking Hammerhead. He's like towards the bottom 10. He's right down there with like Man-Wolf, Molten Man, and like Big Wheel.
For real.
It's like fucking Hammerhead. I would not have guessed him. But and this iteration of Hammerhead is very strange. He turns into like a cyborg. Like not even a cyborg. Like he's a human head on top of a robot body by the end of it.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's so odd.
Yeah. Just goes full RoboCop.
I mean,
And it's a strange interpretation. I don't think it's necessarily a bad one, but it is weird.
yeah, that's definitely one of the weirder ones.
But what's really cool is he started using like old school crime boss scare tactics to really fuck with Yuri. Like he killed her entire police team in front of her to torture her. And as a result, she's clearly got like some PTSD shit going on throughout the DLC. And the start of the DLC actually has Black Cat appear, my fucking babe. And she seems to die in an explosion set up by Hammerhead.
Oh.
She's fine. She sort of states her own death. She appears again at the end of the DLC to help you. But yeah, like you have a big boss fight. You team up with Silver Sable to beat Hammerhead, and the two of you work together and you defeat him. Like we did it. We beat the bad guy. Actually, hang on. I'm thinking of this in the wrong order because before he was a human head on a robot body, he was a human with cybernetic implants wearing an exosuit. Because the DLC is split into three parts, right? The first part mainly focuses on Black Hat. The second part, Hammerhead is showing up and he's stealing the Sable tech. And the third, he's creepy robot man. But at the end of the second part, when you have Hammerhead beat in the one-on-one fight, Yuri shows up, literally just walks up to him, puts a gun to his head, fucking pulls the trigger, and she just murders him.
Jeez.
And they're like, Spider-Man's like, what the fuck did you do? You're not supposed to do that. And so they wind up arresting her, and she gets kicked off the police force. And then, because of the stupid robot shit, they managed to revive him and put his head on a robot body, and it's. But yeah, that DLC is wild, and it sets up for her fall. We've already been recording for 2 hours, so I'm going to try to sort of shotgun the next plot points.
Okay.
Peter goes to Symkaria, where Silver Sable is from, to help Mary Jane on a Daily Bugle reporting thing there. And as a result, Miles is New York's only Spider-Man for a while. And he winds up having to learn. What's really good is I like the taglines of the games sort of tie into like some of the plot points. Like the tagline for the original game is "Be Greater," but for the Miles Morales game, it's "Be Yourself." And it's a lot of Miles learning to be his own Spider-Man, not holding himself up to what he thinks Peter would do. Which fits in very well with like the new movies, the Spider-Verse movies.
Yeah.
Like the I'm gonna do my own thing. He winds up dealing with a couple of factions. One of them is the Roxxon Corporation, which is based heavily on Exxon, the like oil company.
Mm-hmm.
And similarly, they are an energy company in Marvel. I think they're featured prominently in the MCU in Cloak and Dagger.
Is that where they're usually?
Huh?
Is that where they're usually in those comics?
I mean, Cloak and Dagger isn't much of a like a franchise in Marvel. They often appear in like other people's comic books, but
Well, I know that. I was curious if that's where they're usually.
they have to do with Cloak and Dagger's past, but Roxxon sort of appears here and there and everywhere in the comics. They're kind of like a background entity that pops up every once in a while in pretty much any superhero, just because they're not heavily tied to one hero.
Yeah.
They're kind of like Hydra in the sense of like everyone encounters them at some point, but
Okay.
less Nazi and more corporation. So Roxxon is in this game like the main villain of the game, not the person that you fight in the final boss fight, but the real main villain is this dude Simon Krieger, who is just the worst kind of scumbag. Like he's literally like the corporate executive that will sadistically and gleefully watch someone die as he profits from their death.
Jesus.
In fact, Miles's best friend from childhood is this girl named Finn, and I don't know why her name is Finn, like Phin, in terms of this continuity, because it's a reference to the original Tinkerer from the comics being a guy named Phineas, and I hope her fucking name isn't Phineas. But she is the Tinkerer in this continuity. And her brother was like sort of the science mentor to her and Miles, and he's the guy that died, and Simon Krieger gleefully like exploited his death for his own profit.
Hmm.
And so the other faction that's trying to fight Roxxon is this group called the Underground, which was just sort of a nothing gang until Finn came around, was like, I'm going to upgrade all of your tech, and in turn, I'm going to be your boss. You're going to do what I say. And she used programmable matter, which is basically like nanobots. It's you can make a big fist or a sword or a shield or some shit out of very little material. It just sort of pops up out of thin air. It's basically weaponizing hammer space.
Yeah.
Which is very funny as an actual sci-fi concept. But yeah, so she really wants to fucking kill Krieger. And of course, as Spider-Man, you gotta be like, don't kill, it's bad, but also maybe we should beat the shit out of this guy. And so sometimes you ally with the Tinkerer, sometimes you fight her. She winds up being the final boss battle because Krieger is trying to use this energy called New Form, and due to the several alterations and not caring about safety regulations, if this reactor turns on, it'll blow up Harlem. And Finn doesn't realize that that's what will happen. She thinks that it will only blow up Roxxon Plaza. And so she keeps trying to turn on, and she won't listen to reason, and you have to fight her. And the generator turns on, and it starts spreading out further than Roxxon Plaza, and she goes, oh wait, this wasn't supposed to happen. And so Miles uses his bioelectric powers to try and absorb all the energy, save Harlem, and he does succeed, but he clearly can't contain this much energy. He's going to explode, and he can't hold it inside any longer. And so she realizes she fucked this up. She grabs him, she uses her invention to like shoot them both way up into the air, and she literally is holding him in her arms like a fucking biblical painting type thing. And he's like, Finn, I can't hold it. And she's like, it's okay. You can let go. And so he lets go. The energy explodes in midair. She gets fucking vaporized. He hits the ground, but he's okay. So she sacrificed herself to save everyone in the end.
Damn.
And it's very sad, and he lost his best friend as a result. And then we go into Spider-Man 2. Pete comes back. Time passes. New York now gets used to having two Spider-Men. Kraven the Hunter decides to be a bastard man and hunt everyone in New York. If you got superpowers, you're on his list. It doesn't matter if you're hero or villain or reformed. Tombstone, who was a side mission boss in the first game, is now a mechanic working at Coney Island, trying to be a good guy. They hunt him. A lot of people die in this game. Vulture gets killed off screen. We get to see Kraven kill Scorpion. I've spent so long talking about this. I want to wrap it up, so I'm just going to say Venom is a big plot point. Kraven literally gets his head bitten off by Venom.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that? I missed it.
Kraven the Hunter gets his head bitten off by Venom.
Jesus Christ.
It's so shocking because it's not like this game series is a stranger to death. But well, first of all, they do death, but they do it very sparingly because they want the deaths to hit hard. When someone dies, it's a big deal because not everyone dies. This isn't Web of Shadows. This isn't your moody, melodramatic, everyone dies kind of series.
Yeah.
Even when you knock an enemy off of a building, if you watch them fall, it turns out Spider-Man planted a little web line gadget on them, and it shoots a line at the side of the building, and it shoots them over, so they get webbed to the side of the building, so they don't die. Spider-Man doesn't really kill people in this game. Again, like the deaths are few and far between, but even when we have had deaths, they've been very clean. Aunt May dies in a hospital bed. Like Jeff's body is intact after the explosion, and you still get to mourn over his dead body. Finn gets completely vaporized by the explosion, as far as I'm aware, so it's not like there's any detritus that you deal with.
Mm-hmm.
With Kraven, it's not like you see his headless body or anything, but his head was clearly bitten off. You see part of his body still laying there. There's blood splattered everything. It just gets really gruesome. And it's the first time they've let themselves be gruesome, and that makes it hit so much harder.
Damn. That's genuinely fucking shocking.
It's very distressing. I mean, Kraven was an asshole, but holy shit. And because this isn't like normal monster Eddie Brock Venom, this is Harry Osborn, Peter's best friend as Venom.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just like, dude, you just bit a man's head off. Like how I don't know how you come back from that.
For real. That's horrible.
That's not I unleashed a disease upon the city and someone you care about died a week later. No, you bit that man's head off. That was as direct of a murder as you can get.
That guy ain't coming back.
No. I will say one thing I want to mention. Well, a couple things I want to mention about Spider-Man 2. For one, I love the theme of anger in the game.
Mm-hmm.
The obvious thing is like Peter gets taken over by the symbiote. His anger at Kraven causes him to start acting very dark. Miles' anger at Lee, who reappears in the story because Lee killed his fucking dad. So he wants to kill Lee, and he almost lets a bunch of civilians die at one point because he's focusing on Lee instead of focusing on saving people. It's a game about how anger corrupts, and Venom is the physical manifestation of your anger corrupting you. Which is why I think it's very beautiful that at one point Spider-Man is getting taken over by the symbiote again after getting rid of it at one point. Or I should say Peter is getting taken over again. And Miles is there, and Lee shows up. And Lee at one point was like, I'm trying not to be evil anymore. And he's like, he makes the offer. He's like, if I use my like corrupting influence, maybe I can shut the symbiote down inside his body. And Miles is like, I'm going in with you. I'm not letting you go into my friend's mind alone. It's like, okay, fair enough. And so they go in together. And while they're adventuring through Peter's mind, they have a serious talk. And Lee reveals that he ties into the theme of anger as well. He's like, Osborn killed my parents. I thought he was an evil man that needed to be punished. And so, in my anger of wanting to punish him, I became a man that also killed 2 parents. My actions caused both Aunt May and your father to be murdered. I became what I hated because of my anger, and I don't want to be that anymore. And Miles tells him, he's like, look, you still killed my dad. I don't think I can ever forgive you for that. But at the very least, I can learn a lesson from your story. I don't need to hold on to this hatred for you. I don't need to let my anger towards you corrupt me. At the very least, I should give you the opportunity to make up for what you did. And it's through that tentative partnership, that agreement. It's through both of them trying together to let go of their anger that the little bit of the symbiote that's left inside of Peter, this thing that's always been manifested as a black suit with a white spider, Mr. Negative turns it negative. It becomes a white suit with a black spider. They literally create anti-venom, which becomes the physical manifestation of letting go of your anger, and therefore becomes the ultimate weapon against the physical manifestation of being corrupted by your anger. Anti-venom does extra damage against symbiotes. It becomes the ultimate weapon to stop venom.
Damn.
That is incredible thematic writing. And it makes so much sense. Of course the guy who can negative swap your colors turns the black suit into a white suit. It just makes so much sense.
I love that, actually.
That is some of the best fucking writing I've ever seen in a Spider-Man story. And so at the end, Lee is like, they ask him, they're like, so where are you going to go now? And he's like, I don't know. All I can try and do is, I try and help as many people as I can now to make up for the things I did before. Maybe I'll never truly be redeemed or forgiven, but I have to at least try to make the world a better place. And then Miles sort of smiles at him, and he remembers Aunt May's quote from the first game. And he says it back to him. If you help one person, you help everyone. And Lee smiles, remembering that that was May's words. And he goes, you're right. And he just leaves to start trying to help people in the world again. And if we never see that character in this continuity again, I'll be fine with that, because I think that's the perfect send-off for him.
Honestly, yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah. Now, on a much more geeky and less beautiful thing I want to talk about. My Hero Academia. They fucking love Spider-Man. Horikoshi drew Deku in a Spider-Man costume years ago, and he made Sero have the same mobility as Peter with his webs, and in fact he gave that mobility to Deku when he got Black Whip, so he can swing around the city now. He is a huge Spider-Man fan. So, how beautiful is it that in Spider-Man 2, in the year 2023, in the Miles versus Peter boss battle, Miles literally hits Peter with the same attack that Bakugo used to beat Deku.
That's, oh my god. Just
In
come
their
full circle.
in the second Bakugo and Deku fight in the anime, Bakugo beats him by, like, they're in midair, he flips around, gets on top of Deku, raises his palm to the sky, blasts upward to rocket them both down, and lands on top of them. Miles does that exact same move in the game with his bioelectricity.
That's fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, as soon as I saw that, I was like, holy fuck, that's the Bakugo move! They made a My Hero reference, let's fucking go! I was so happy. Oh my god, I love that. I love two different creative teams referencing each other because they appreciate each other's work.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. And okay, the last thing I want to say, because I'm kind of starting to, my fingers are kind of starting to go numb, and I'm starting to feel hot. I haven't eaten.
You should go fucking eat. Holy
Yeah,
shit.
we need to wrap this up. So I'll just go say this real quick. There's a side mission. I'm mad I didn't realize who this guy was until seconds before the game told me. He's a cult leader, clearly insane. He's a redhead, and we don't get his name immediately. He's just referred to as the Flame because his group is the Followers of the Flame. And he's got some sort of beef with Oscorp in this game. I'm like, oh, I wonder who this guy is. And then literally, as they attack an Oscorp train, I'm like, wait a minute. A red-headed psychopath in a Spider-Man game? That sounds kind of familiar. Yeah, turns out he was Cletus Cassidy. And the reason he was going after Osborn is because they made the symbiote, and he stole a copy of the symbiote.
Damn.
So he got away with it. So they set up Carnage for the next game. They set up Carnage. Harry managed to survive, but he's in a coma now. And of course, Osborn thinks the Spider-Man put him into a coma. So very much in like the end of the Sam Raimi Spider-Man 1 movie where Harry thought that Spider-Man killed his dad, in this, Norman thinks that they almost killed his son. And so he mentions a new cure that they were developing for Harry that he refers to as the G serum. And he tells them to get it ready.
Mm-hmm.
So he's mad at the Spider-Man, he's developing the G serum, we're going to get Green Goblin in the next one.
Oh, that's going to be so fucking amazing.
Yep. And then they also hinted at the return of Otto, because Norman visits Otto in his jail cell, and he's like, what do you want? He's like, you know Spider-Man's real identity, right? And he's like, even if I do know who it is, it's not like I'm going to tell you. And he's writing a book, and Norman looks at it, and he's like, what are you writing? And Otto sort of looks at the camera, and he goes, the final chapter. Which I guess is a reference to the fact that Dr. Octopus often takes the role of the master planner, which is like the guy who organizes a bunch of other. He's basically the leader of the Sinister Six, right? Like,
yeah,
he's the guy that organizes other villains to try and bring the downfall of Spider-Man. So he's probably going to try and manipulate both Green Goblin and Carnage to defeat Spider-Man in the next game.
Okay.
I can't wait. I just hope the next release is less buggy upon release, but I love this franchise. I love this iteration of the character. Some of the best interpretations. I have to say, they name drop Cindy Moon in like the final scene of the after credits scene.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. So we might also get Silk in the next game, which I'm cautiously optimistic about. Um, Insomniac has very good interpretations of lots of comic book characters, both old and new, as I mentioned before. Um, their writing has not let me down yet, so I have to hope that they won't write that stupid bullshit about Silk from the comics, where because her and Peter were bitten by the same spider, they're destined to be together, which takes the form of they become irrevocably horny in the presence of each other.
Jeez.
That shit's really gross. I don't
Yeah.
like that.
I'm still not a fan of that.
It's not good, especially coupled with the fact that her first Spider-Man costume was literally her just being naked, covered in webs.
They didn't do that great.
I think the character's doing better these days as like a character that can be likable. But man, when she first appeared in the comics, she fucking sucked, dude. That was clearly some writer's fetish that they were trying to force in there. Like, what if Hot Spider Lady wearing nothing but webs which dissolve in an hour? And then it also she makes Spider-Man super horny and bricked up every time she appears on a chemical level.
It's just kind of cringe.
It is. It's extremely cringe. That's why I'm just like, Insomniac, I hope you know not to do any of that bullshit. If you must include Cindy Moon, please reinterpret her character.
At the very least, if they're gonna incorporate something like that, it should just be like nothing to do with horniness. Just like he,
If
I
you
don't know.
make it like their spider sense causes them to like almost echolocate to each other, like they
Yeah,
can,
something like that.
yeah, they feel drawn to each other in like a normal physical sense and not into a sexual sense, like fine.
See that I could get behind.
Yeah. Um, but it's just, it's like, it borders on like the sexual uncomfortableness of like using drugs on people.
Yeah,
Like when
honestly.
you're chemically altering someone's thoughts to make them want you, it's like that's gross. All right. Like, I think we're going to wrap it up here. I've said quite a lot about the Spider-Man games. Go play them. They're very fun. Uh, Even the remastered edition is on sale for $10 on PlayStation now, so you should get it. Of the first game, I mean.
Mm.
Um, you can follow the Cape Corner Discord. You can talk to us and make suggestions. Holy shit! Let me take my robe off real quick. I'm burning up. Um, You can follow me at Beyond Blue 2 on Tumblr and Beyond Blue on Bluesky. Um, I believe it's Margot Malicious now for all of your stuff, right?
No, it's Margot. It's Margot Mayhem for most of my stuff. For
God
Twitter,
damn it. I always get those confused.
it's okay. For Twitter specifically, it's actually Margot 2 Mayhem, though, like the number 2.
Okay. Sorry, I just took my first bite of Pop Tart since doing this.
Oh no, you're good. You need to fucking eat.
I do. I'm starving.
Yeah, so do I,
Um,
actually.
oh, and the Holopods Podcast Network. The link tree's in the description. There's some cool guys. It's the Phantom Optimists. It's the SJW Comic Book Club. It's True Believers, a comic book podcast. It's oh fuck, what's my other podcast called?
Oh God,
It's the Kingdom Hearts 1 replica program. It's the replica program. And it's... Is it movies to watch before you die? Is that it?
I think that's
Yes.
what it is, yeah.
Movies to watch before you die. Dylan Pollock. Yeah, we got some new members. I'm hungry and my brain is not working for a different reason now than it was at the start of this. And they're new, so they don't come to me as easily. All right. I think that's going to about do it. You have any final things you want to say?
No, honestly.
All right. Everybody, thank you for listening. Again, season 5, we've done a lot of characters now. If you have ideas for who you want to listen to an episode about, please suggest them in the Discord. I'm running out of ideas. Other than that, thank you for listening. Stay strong, stay true to yourselves, and remember, we can all be heroes. Alright, I'm gonna eat something. Jesus fucking Christ, I'm dying.
I don't blame you.